Hi folks, John Dunn here, RPG freelancer, publisher behind Melee Review. I am up here at Immortals Inc. today with Mikey.
Hello, John. How goes it today?
It is electric today.
Really?
Oh yeah, it is so electric that we are going to cover the Electric State RPG from Free League Games. You got it. This is a fairly new release that was written by Simon Stollenhag, who has done a lot of artistic work for Free League in the past, including quite a bit of the Tales from the Loop material. This is a standalone RPG that is set in a alternate 1997 America, which, as the cover shows you, has giant trashed robots wandering the countryside.
Wow, I did not notice that.
I mean, just that right there is enough to sell it to me, right? We don't even need to talk anymore at that point.
We're good. This is the end of the video. Quickest video we've done.
So this one uses the Year Zero engine, which is the kind of the house system for Free League Games. And even as you open it, the end papers show a map of Pacifica, which is kind of an alternate California. Book opens up with a welcome to the Electric State. It's about 22 pages, and it tells us just a little bit about the setting and the game itself. So the gist of it is there's been a massive U.S. Civil War, and the country's kind of trashed because of it, and really the rest of the world kind of reflects this as well. The Electric State, for which the game is named, is a virtual reality environment, and that's where most people are trapped, and they're not, like locked into it, but they're addicted to it.
Like Ready Player One type stuff?
Very much like the Oasis out of Ready Player One. Yeah, so the people basically got into it, and they were just like, oh, this is better than everything outside. I don't want to leave.
This is my dopamine right here.
It is totally your dopamine. And the concept is that the player characters have to undertake a journey in the physical world. And this is a post-apocalyptic setting, but it's a post-apocalyptic setting partly because there's been a big war and civilization has collapsed because everybody wants to be in VR. But it's not that there was a huge ecological collapse. It's not that there was massive nuclear fallout that destroyed everywhere. It did destroy some places, but not everywhere. It's that nobody wants to leave virtual reality to do basic maintenance.
Yeah,
so
who would?
Roads are getting trashed. Buildings are collapsing, sometimes with people still inside. And so it's just a general decay that's happening.
DoorDash is at an all-time high in stock.
Well, people aren't even jacking out to eat, right?
What are they doing? They're just like starving and malnourished?
Some people are malnourished. Other people, the one percenters, are getting an IV. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
The player characters are undertaking a journey in the kind of crumbling physical world, and that journey is broken down into stops, right? So to me, this kind of brings to mind Roadside Americana, right? You're driving along and you go, oh, we need to go see the biggest ball of twine, right?
The biggest donut, world's biggest donut.
Exactly, yeah. So, and those stops then can be broken down further into scenes, and in the intro, we also get kind of some basic game mechanics and some more notes about the world. The next chapter, and this is the most world material we get, is about the state of Pacifica. Pacifica, like I said, used to be California, but it kind of split off. About 30 pages on this. And we find out that the big difference between our world and the Electric State is the science of neuronics. And that's basically mimicking how the human brain works through technology. And neuronics companies essentially control what was the government. And the biggest one of those is a company called Center. And we got cities collapsing from neglect. And then we've got people that didn't want to plug into the Electric State. And those tend to be kind of, let's say, the extremists. So we've got cultists and we've got militias.
Wait, these are the guys that didn't decide to go into this Electric State?
Right, yeah. So we got the militia members, we got the cultists. They're kind of out on the fringes of society.
Harsh title on them.
And so when you hit one of these stops, those are the people you're most likely to encounter in the physical world. And then we've got neuronics entities that also interface with the physical world. Some of these are ghosts. that basically are things that are in the neural network that want to be outside of it. And sometimes that takes the form of giant robots. Maybe they're not ruined. Maybe they're just giant and walking around and controlled like a drone. And then we've got entities that are living inside these machines as well. Oh, and by the way, Las Vegas is the one city that got nuked. Yeah, naturally, all right?
Thought I was going to say Cleveland, but at least it's Las Vegas.
Fair. Next chapter is Your Traveler, and that's the character creation chapter. It runs about 26 pages. We get the archetypes: artist, criminal, devotee, doctor, drone pilot, investigator, outsider, runaway kid. Works with that whole you're on a journey thing. Scientist, and veteran. And then we cover attributes, dice, character health. Characters are kind of motivated by a hope, right? That's what keeps them going in the face of the rune. Their bliss, their general state of happiness. And, that bliss comes from spending time in the electric state. When your bliss exceeds your hope, you become addicted and you can't leave anymore. At least not willingly.
What a shame.
Character talents, your gear, which is, again, very 90s themed. So it's set in 1997. One of the things that might give you hope is listening to tunes on your Walkman, right?
Yes.
Because MP3 players weren't really around just yet. And vehicles. So a lot of the vehicle artwork here very much reflects that 90s aesthetic.
A cop car is a 90s. That's for sure.
Totally.
90s
Yeah.
cop
There's
car.
a bunch of Volvos and Saabs in here that are iconic as well. And then your character's going to have a favorite song, and they give you a list, which is entirely 90s alt rock.
That's all it is, just alt rock?
Everything there is alt rock. Yeah, it's great. And then there's a tension, and the characters are going to have tension between them, and that's going to be used also to drive the story. And sometimes resolving that tension might work to help improve the character's hope.
That's pretty cool, though. Like, music's a part of everybody's life most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I don't know. This is like one of the first RPGs we've covered where music's a big part of that.
It's a central theme of that 90s culture is what music you're listening to, and the music being a driver to, get your characters in the right mindset as they're going. And I think a big part of that then can be setting up a playlist to have running in the background.
Yeah, some Star-Lord stuff.
Maybe you seed that with the character's favorite songs, and maybe, I don't know, might give the character a bonus if their favorite song comes up just as they're doing something. Certainly something I've done in the past in games. Next chapter after that is Combat and Neuronics. This is mostly your Zero Engine core mechanics, but then we get into neurocasting and hope, right? And as I mentioned, how tension can raise hope, some gear might raise hope. And then we talk about drones and vehicles, and because drone combat and neurocasting combat and vehicle combat, when you're on this journey and you're encountering things like giant robots, that can be really important. And that's a big part of setting this unusual world that we're in right now. Next 24 pages after that are about the journey. This is basically game master advice for how you set up your journey, scoping it out, whether you want this to be a one-shot that might just have 1 or 2 stops, or whether you want it to be an extended campaign that might run 15, 20 stops, right? Say the characters are driving all the way across North America, or maybe down into South America. Either of these could be easily extended campaigns, and you just need to figure out why the characters are trying to get to this place and what happens along the way. So you want to talk about the character's goals and the tension when you're setting up that journey. And then you want to design those stops. There's a website that I've used for road trips in the past called Roadside Americana that does talk about all of those really weird tourist traps. I think that would be a really fun place to go to for setting that out.
That'd be good.
Then when we talk about scenes, you're going to have elements like a blocker and a need. So what they need to do to resolve, make their way through the scene or the stop, what the threats are, the conflicts that they see, and a countdown. So if there's a time restraint, what might tick down that the characters need to resolve things before they run out of time. Chapter after that is threats. Those are broken down into violent threats. A couple of examples are killers, right? Just insane peoples or militias. Manipulative threats that include cultists or businesses.
Ooh.
Yeah, they need employees that aren't already hooked into the electric state.
Ooh, Neuralink.
Technological threats like robots. and environmental threats like weather or disease. There's a 52-page sample journey that follows that up called Into the Dust. That's got 3 stops into it. Great example of how you might want to set up a journey for your characters to play through, or, just use that as one. And then there's a lone traveler section after that, about 14 pages, and that's for playing the game solo, right? So say you just want to sit down and map out the journey and see how it goes for your characters that you assembled, you can do that. It's all right there. After that, we get some character sheets, a few sample pre-gens, and an index. It's 228 pages, hardcover, full color, lavishly illustrated throughout. $50. Got copies here on the shelf at Immortals Inc. or hit us up at immortalsinc.com.
Very well said, John. Are there hackers or a hacking system in this game?
Well, I mean, kind of, right? So you've got the drone pilots that are going to be flying the drones, and then you definitely do have rules for combat through neurocasting.
That's what I was wondering when you said drone, because if you could, hack into one of those robots.
Oh, totally.
That'd be interesting.
It sure would.
All right, cool.
Good times.
Thanks for talking about it. Check it out below. See you guys next time.
Till next time, folks. Good gaming.